Hello, mindful friends. Today we're going to be talking about the Buddhist term Mudita, which means rejoicing in the happiness of others. I love this concept because it really does bring us so much joy and so much healing in our lives if we are able to truly do it. And it's also quite difficult in our societies because there are so many mindsets and misconceptions that teach us not to rejoice in the happiness of others. We have a lot of competitive mindsets in our cultures. We have a lot of scarcity mindsets, and we have a lot of hierarchies that tell us that somebody else's happiness means a detriment to our own. And that sometimes we see happiness like a pie, and if somebody else gets a larger piece, it means there's less left for us. And so we can feel jealousy, we can feel greed, we can feel like we want to take what's doesn't belong to us or what other people are experiencing or have gained. And this may be perceived as a way to get more for ourselves, to increase our happiness, but the wisdom behind the teachings tells us that this, in fact, decreases our amount of happiness and the amount of collective happiness. And I'll explain more through this talk. But when we engage with Mudita in a positive way, it means we're looking first at the correct definition of happiness, which does not mean that it lies in what we possess, what we buy, what we attain, achieve, the labels we have, or our status. These are superficial things that sometimes possessions, right, can assist in happiness and well-being, but they are not the actual sources of true happiness. So we want to shift that and remind ourselves that true happiness comes with that internal sense of well-being and contentment arising with the knowing that we are living in a way that honors, grows, and stays true to our deepest values. So we are living in ways with purpose that generate more peace in the world, more love, more compassion, more kindness, more healing for everybody. So when we start to see that this is our definition of happiness, it starts to become clearer right away how we could rejoice in the happiness of others. Because in their happiness, they are generating more peace in the world. They are generating more healing for themselves, which then emanates outwards and is shared with all of the world around them, including us. And as they grow in their true happiness, there's less suffering within them, which means they do less harmful and destructive behaviors that create a ripple out and create destruction and suffering in the world around them. So obviously, I am going to feel very, very joyful if people around me can experience this level of happiness. If they are decreasing the amount of their suffering, which then decreases the amount of suffering in all of us. And this makes it really easy to see that what we truly want is for everybody to be able to experience and have this level of happiness, and that creates the healing in all of us, which is such a different concept than many of us kind of think and perceive in our reality, which says happiness is based on limited resources, right? That what we're saying true happiness is, these are not limited resources. They are infinite. The more that peace grows, the more that there is accessible, and the more we can all have. There's no scarcity mindset in that. If one person has lots and lots of peace, it means that we have more potential to have peace ourselves. Whereas in our mindsets in our society, where we can get a little limited is when we're perceiving this happiness linked to limited resources. So saying like how much money you have, how much you own, how many clothes you have. These things, in one kind of sense or view, we could say that if somebody else attains more, we do have less. And that can feel scary, vulnerable, unfair. It can create jealousy, greed, and resentment towards other people. So it has to do with our perception of and understanding of happiness. When we link it to limited resources or external conditions, it is limited. It does feel like a piece of a pie that some people have more of and others have less. So we have to shift away from that. That's not what brings us true happiness. And what that does is it creates competition and feeling like we have to hoard more and we have to sometimes get ahead at the detriment of others. Whereas the mudita in the Buddhist concept is saying your happiness is not based on these limited external resources. It is given to you and experienced through these infinite, always available energies that we share and grow within ourselves and out in the world. That automatically takes away any of the need, all those obstacles that get in our way of being happy for the happiness of others and allows us to experience the joy of collective well-being and happiness. And this mindset then creates so much more joy in our lives because we feel the joy when we feel happiness, when we cultivate these energies, when we live with purpose, when we do something that shows kindness, and then we exponentially feel joy as that reverberates outward, and we get to experience that in anybody else in our lives and everybody else. When they feel joy, ours is lifted even more. When they grow peace, ours grows even more. When they express love, we feel it in our heart. And this is where we see the beautiful healing energies and the infinite exponential growth of true happiness. So feel happy when other people are experiencing this form of happiness, because it is healing them, and in turn, it is healing you, and it is creating more goodness in this world for you and everybody that you love to experience as well. If you enjoy these teachings and would like to join us for individual coaching or group classes, you can find us at newleafmindfulness.com. You can find these teachings and many more in my book, living from the heart, healing ourselves so we can heal the world. You can find that anywhere you buy print or audio content. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you all very soon.